having this morning with a current member of the County Assembly and a former member of the County Assembly. But we'll take the one who's current and the one who's here. Shege Mwora is the member of the County Assembly for Ngara Ward. And the Secretary General of the County Assembly's Forum. He's here this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
How are you doing?
Good.
Yes? Good to have you here again.
Thank you.
Good to see you. We had a conversation when you were not here. So we said, you know what? How about these guys come and tell us exactly what happened and what we can look into. Nairobi being the biggest county, being the commercial and administrative county for the country. It's vital. It's crucial in the happenings of the country. So we'll talk about that just in a while. But Dennis Asato is going to welcome you with today's proverb. We would like to hear your interpretation of it.
Yeah. So when you hear Morocco, what do you think of?
Casablanca, Marrakesh.
Not even Chan 2024.
At least we got a scalp of them before they won the cup itself.
See, every Kenyan thinks the same way. We beat the winners, so we are the winners, right? Yeah. So today we're in Morocco, a beautiful country. So you talk about tourism, cool. You talk about the traditional Moroccan carpet, really beautiful. You talk about phosphate that we use in the country for fertilizer. We import it from Morocco because they are one of the largest, one of the countries that produces it the most. So we benefit from each other as well. But let's go to the proverb today. And this today comes with a lot of positivity. Nothing lasts except goodness. Nothing lasts except goodness. How would you interpret that?
I would interpret it that if your intentions are clear, if your motives are good, then no matter the challenges, no matter the hurdles, you'll still see the end of the tunnel.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. Even before the goodness, it doesn't have to be an act of goodness, but if you have an intent for goodness, it'll come out at the end of the day. I like that. Interesting. Even before it's done, what's inside matters. Indeed. All right. Key us into the machinations of what has been happening at the county. Last week, there were rumblings of a possible ouster motion for the governor led by members of the county assembly. Let's start there. Where did all of this come from in the first place?
Very well. I think let me start from a background. Since we got elected in 2022, what happens is that when you come in, there's some coziness, some bit of honeymoon, guys to settle. And that's how we started. And everyone thought, let's give everyone some chance to set up. 2023 went by. There were promises made. Then after 2023, guys realized things are not going exactly as you had suggested. You said, Apana, let's put up a few things in order. I got this. Give me time. And then 2024, of course, media, we had Gen Zs. And things started changing because, they usually, people are given like two years to settle and wait for your first grand plan to happen. After that, things start now to roll and people start asking questions. And that's what happened early this year. Again, with this thing happened nationally. The expectations of Kenyans in general, from head of state going down to MCA, the standard that Kenyans required of accountability actually rose higher decibels. And so if the newer guys were not used to this, if you're not used to hitting the ground running, then it caught you by surprise. And so people started agitating for quicker action in the county. So when we went for the long, actually after the budget passage, 30th of June, we went for the recess. And then now we are in the devolution conference, and then now. When we were actually in recess up to 23rd of September, the speaker called for a kamkunji, and we were just to see how things are going, and guys were like, things are not going well, and we have been telling you, the leadership, to represent us when it comes to issues, executive issues, legislature. We now want to ouster the governor and his deputy. I was like, wow. Usually, even the recent one of Kericho, usually assemblies are, kick out the governor first, and then maybe the deputy is given a chance. But Nairobians, last week, actually, the Kamkunji happened on Wednesday, they were clear. We want all these guys out, and let's set this county back to how it's supposed to be. And they put up as leadership, see how you're going to work this out, and call a special sitting next week. We put this thing into roll. And so when we asked ourselves, where are we? What's this? Why it's unique, number one, is that there has never been a situation where an assembly wants to impeach the governor and his deputy. So the grounds for the governor were actually well documented. For the deputy, usually they hide around, I was not given the roles. But guys were like, look, you've been in that cabinet, you have passed all these resolutions, you've been elected by the people. You can't just be having free lunch. You also have a responsibility. What have you done to say things are not going the way they're supposed to be? Have you spoken to the assembly? Have you written any, letters to say things are not going well? So there was a unanimous agreement that we push the two motions to go. And then, of course, in the media, guys thought, these guys are joking. They are, nja. They need to,
somebody's attention.
Yeah, and that was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then guys thought, they're going to be called. By Sunday, we, some guys called a backyard meeting in somebody's house, and like 60 guys showed up. And,
Were
guys
you there?
said, yes.
Okay.
And, there's a conversation. We said, can we now, the grounds were put, anyone who believes in these grounds, can we put signatures? And within 10 minutes, we had 55 signatures. And by the way, mine was the first. And then on that evening, we met up with a few top leadership of the assembly, and former Prime Minister called them and said, can I have a discussion with your leadership tomorrow? And on Monday, we had a conversation with the former Prime Minister, and he was categorical that I know there's a problem, but also because you're in the top leadership, can we find a workable solution to this issue?
Okay.
And he was giving examples of, even him, he's been through very tough decision-making processes. And so hard as it is, you are the leadership, find a solution that makes sense, because it can't just, what happens if it doesn't proceed to the Senate, or it goes to the Senate and it gets a cropper. Meanwhile, as we're having this meeting, the ordinary folk was in the assembly doing a presser, and they pushed the signatures from 55 to 86.
Oh, okay. This was on Monday?
This is on Monday.
Okay.
Yeah. And we said, we hear you. And we juggled a couple of probable solutions, but here was the catch. The motion was not being supported by the leadership. It was not being sponsored by the leadership. It was members driven. And so we said this conversation must be done by the ordinary members as well. And so the thought was, why don't you...
This is what you're telling Raila Odinga?
Yes. And he was like, wow, you mean you guys we cannot straitjacket members they're the owners of this motion. They're the drivers. And as we speak here, the signatures have moved. They were shooting, the rallion call, clarion call was, we hit 100 strong. Nairobi is 123 members. So you need, actually the signatures we wanted is 42. 42 for tabling, that's a third. And if you have 84, that's 2/3. You better, once the motion is tabled, you have the grounds, it will pass in the assembly. Yeah. And so they are hitting at 100, and we are going to get this job done and go to Senate. And so without any push, that's what changed the narrative. No one is backing down. No one looks like there's a bigger hand sponsoring. It's morphing. And so... the leadership, we were like, we can't take people's desire out of their hearts and out of their hands, and jumble them in a straitjacket and tell them, hey, these are the probable solutions. So this discussion must be done in a wider, leadership, and bring all the members involved.
What were the numbers saying? Because 55 on a Sunday to 86
Monday. Yeah.
And then knocking on 100 by the end of the day.
Yeah.
There's something that the members of the county assembly are saying.
Yes.
What is that? That they're not satisfied with the leadership of the governor? Or that, sure, there are going to be those who say, okay, well, this is fun. There's something that we're doing here, and folks seem to be putting their signature, so let 10 or so join in. But with the majority of the people saying that they are not satisfied with the leadership of the governor for Nairobi County.
Yes, and in two levels. Number one, Nairobians were not satisfied, and they are still not satisfied.
Okay.
And they felt they've been let down by the governor, and they've also been left out by us for not being able to push him, to oversight him enough for him to be able to deliver. And so we've been trying to, having conversations, why don't we try this, the empty promises and all those kinds of things. So why don't we just put all these things in the bare, so that we don't look like we are the ones who are holding back and, allowing all these things that people are happy with. And let it make it bare, let people know what is happening, let it go to Senate. If Senate wants to, agree with him and return him, it will be of us. And so that public was not happy. Number two, our backbench were also not happy. The ordinary folk at the assembly, leadership have been too lenient. You've had enough meetings. We don't like the way the back and forth and the empty promises.
Wait, these are, so you're saying back end meetings with the governor?
Yes.
Because I wanted to get to what were the grounds then for impeachment.
Yes.
Because one of the things that we were clearly hearing is that Governor Sakaja does not listen and is unavailable. So you're saying that before all these issues were riled up, there were conversations between the leadership and the governor.
Yes, and then we, even in as early as when we started 2 months, the first meeting, which was like exactly this date 3 years ago, we had a meeting in Mombasa, and personally asked the governor, 3 things are going to be, they're going to be your ropes that you'll use like Tarzan to second term. One, the issues like bursaries. Kenyans are very attached to bursaries, and especially the people who really need them. We've seen it. Please take a keen eye, put ring-fence educational support, and make it happen. Number 2, projects that are ward-based. You can have the capital projects that cut across the county and the wards and all that. But there are areas that people feel, we elected you for that specific bridge, or that, that market. They ring-fence some money to make sure that those ward-specific projects run and unabated. Number 3, do an open door policy. All these guys have been elected, all have various issues. When they have issues like disaster, like what happened in Embakasi sometime, when that member comes and tells you, we have a crisis, let them find you. Now, the governor doesn't operate a lot in City Hall. He has a private office. It's hard to access. If you access, it's also hard to get him. So guys gave up. And so...
Wait, he's supposed to be at City Hall.
Yes.
That's his official office.
Yes.
But
and he'll show up.
And he'll show up,
but limited, number 1. And then number 2, the way to access. You've come, I don't know, wait, you had no appointment, I don't know, the former governors, Sonko had a proper open door policy. Governor Kidero was like the next person after the one I'm meeting should be, or if he had actually scheduled meetings. I think it was Thursdays and I don't know, Mondays, between morning up to around 10. If you have specific issues at awards, I'll open and have these conversations with you. Now, that is not the case.
But those 2 governors were based at City Hall. you'll find
yes,
the
and
city hall.
remember, Sonko also had some issues when he had decided to operate from somewhere in Machakos. And one of the grounds that we had a problem at that time, and that actually led to one of his impeachment grounds, was that unavailability. And one of the tasks, one of the agreements was, can you return your piece to City Hall? And there's a reason why there's the office is right in the middle of the city, so that even not us, even you, because you are the person who pays taxes, you own the city. If you wanted something and you need to come there and find the people you elected, and City Hall is one side, the executive side, this other side, assembly.
Yes.
And there shouldn't be so much barriers to even see me, and or even anyone else within that circle. And so once people find it difficult to interact with you and also your officers, then just it's a matter of time, you will have problems. Yeah.
So, Chige, we look at where all this started. You say when the assembly was set up, I gave time, and there was this statement, I got this, but clearly he got none. So we look at further the conversations that are there. Raila says, I know there's a problem, let's try and fix it. But the question is, if there is a problem and clearly the assembly is out to try fix that problem, why does it seem as though the leadership of these political outfits are keen on seeing the governor remain in office than deal with the problem? Because if you look at the meetings that the two, one would call them the meetings between the two sides, UDA and ODM, we don't know what was discussed, but we know after the fact now there were resolutions that the man remains in office for the next 30 days. And with that, Kenyans are asking the question, at what point is it about us and not about the politicians, not about the governor, but us? Because delivery is to us.
Yes, I think I got caught, the thought process didn't complete. So on Monday, we met former Prime Minister, His Excellency Raila. Tuesday, we were called to State House because I also belong to Kenya Kwanza. So we met as a Kenya Kwanza, and the president again was clear. I know there are problems, but I want to hear the problems. That's what happened on Tuesday. And he said, is it possible to come up with a solution? Now, where the president and former prime minister's questions were like, yes, we know there's a problem, but again, is the solution making a point by kicking him out? And what are the options that you have after you've kicked him out at the assembly? And we looked at all those solutions. Number one, we take him to the Senate. If he goes to the Senate, then what happens? If they uphold, then he goes out. And if they uphold the two, then we are in another an election cycle. If he returns, then again, we find another way of, do we revert into another motion, or do we sort out the issues that were making us get here in the first place? Or number three, NMS kind of arrangement. And so we looked at all the solutions. And what the 60 days came when the president says, we were unanimous that why don't you let us do our thing? Let him go to Senate, save him from there. And the president said, because we've never had this kind of conversation before, why don't we try and look at the issues that you're raising, give him a reasonable amount of time to sort. If it does not work, then I will have washed my hands. And we asked him, how long is
this is the president?
Time? Yeah.
Okay.
And give it to him. He really was a fair arbiter in terms of, I have had your issues, I'll hear his issues, and that what is the middle ground. And when he said 60 days, I was actually, wow. I actually thought you'd say 6 months. So 60 days looked really realistic, because 60 days from now is early November, and we'll be in session. We will not be in recess.
Yeah.
So because now getting it, you have to get this leader of majority to convince the speaker to gazette a sitting, and it's a process. In November, we will be in session. And so 60 days looked realistic. What are the issues? Number one, the issues to do with, is the city clean? We're having a problem with the management of solid waste management. Why can't we, there are areas, if you go to Mudhurwa, is a big, heap. So now I heard it's called Mount Sakaja. There's another one at Kawangware. These are illegal dump sites. Why can't we just get this garbage done? Number two, the road network. Why can't we even do the small patchworks? And I remember there's some in the budget making process, we agreed, why don't you ring fence some money, not for contracting, but for buying the material, so that we can be doing this small road maintenance, routine maintenance work without involving contractors and all. Number three, why are we allowing goons to run the city? We have security apparatus. Why don't we agree on a formula that makes, I was told that just this last week when a gang invaded Kimathi house and, like in broad daylight. Why are we getting ourselves in this kinds of mess? I guess because of political reasons and those kind of things. Why is this that when it rains, when it pours, it's the cities,
Nairobi River.
Why can't we sort out the drainage, unclog those way before? Short trains are going to come in 2 months. What's the plan now? Those are the kinds of things that we're asking. We have the striking medics. There's been, they come and they camp at City Hall, putting their case. Why are you not moving and sorting it out? Recently, it happened even in my ward and 5 other wards. There were illegal evictions from county houses. We go to court. We get a court order to reinstate the status quo and allow the court process to go. And we actually censure the chief officer in charge of housing. The governor refuses to move with that decision of the assembly, in rampant disregard over, such a process. So all these issues and the monies that's supposed to be remitted to the county assembly from the shareable, whatever, makes us not even be able to buy water, tissue, And those are the issues that members were like, no. And those are just a few,
So these are a few big issues.
Yes.
Right? That again, Nairobi is the county essentially that steers the nation.
Yes.
Until I believe it's Vision 2030 that says Isiolo might now become an administrative capital for the country. But in the meantime, Nairobi bears the brunt of that responsibility.
Yes.
And it is also in terms of population, the largest, and it is also on the global scale, it's where the pin is.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So we're not just talking about anywhere, anybody, anything. It's a big deal. You have world headquarter institution capitals in Nairobi, and these are things that draw a lot of attention.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about trivial matters here. And now, follow me where I'm going with this. These have been perennial problems for the last 2.5 going on to 3 years.
Yeah.
And according to you, that these are things that have been brought up and they have not been dealt with.
True.
So there's an ouster motion that's raised on Sunday. And then by Monday, the number had gotten to double of what is required for tabling.
Yeah.
And by the end of the day, it's triple almost the number. You have a meeting with former Prime Minister Raila Odinga on Monday. You have a meeting with the president on Tuesday, and then 60 days are given for something to happen, a clear up to be made. 3 years of perennial issues and not attending to those issues against 60 days of saying, well, let's get this done. And by your own admission, it would appear as though this is something that is irritating the president. You said you thought he was going to give 6 months, but he said, no, 60 days, clear this thing up. Do you really believe that in 60 days, what has been issues for 3 years will be sorted out?
Number one is that the governor would need to really pull up, a magical streak to make it happen in 60 days. But that is not the point. The point is there a motive and an intention to deal with these issues so that we see proper evidential movement within the 60 days, so that we see, actually, I really want to make this thing work. I really want to have a problem that makes sense, to sort out the problem. Like in the garbage issue, you can't sort it out in 60 days.
No.
But what are the practical steps? And the issue cannot be, I'm talking to this investor, I don't know what. Before you ink the pen put to the ink and all those things for this investor, so that it can be waste through energy, and we generate electricity out of the garbage. Can we get it out of our streets fast? And we have NMS. NYS and all these other guys, who at your level can be able to speak, first of all, to get the illegal dump sites out of our streets. And we can talk about, once it's in the proper dumping site, then we can talk about how to, make these other processes go. And so those are the issues.
So my question before I break a train of thought.
Yes.
I just wanted to clarify something. Didn't Sakaja early this year unveil 24 on top of the others from the previous years, refuse compacted trucks at City Hall?
Yes.
What do these trucks do? If we have a garbage problem within the city, you're not talking about the exterior parts, the exterior wards. This is within CBD, within the city. What's going on?
The 24 trucks are the ones that carry skips. The ones that carry the organized. Yes. Yeah. But you see, the heaps that are all these mountains I'm talking about are not in organized bins, so that you can come and collect. So in the 24, maybe bit of it would also have been the ones that you can actually remove with a backhoe or something and load and take. Over and beyond the ones, because these other ones can only work in maybe markets and areas where the solid waste is actually captured in a bin and is organized. But then again, so therein lies you need a better plan of first of all, how to stop the bleeding, and that is what is lacking. And so to me, there are people who also have trucks that are handling garbage maybe from a very low level, maybe from this house or from this estate, the smaller ones, the youth groups that also capture. Where is the plan that connects the ones that are collecting from these individual houses and going and adding to these illegal dump sites? That connection is missed somewhere. So that now you see whoever is doing that first mile, and you who's supposed to do the overall and take it to Dandora. And that is an issue. When we saw that in devolution conference, there's a guy from Ghana, it's called Just Pongo. There's a very good presentation, and it really didn't look very complicated, because if you can be able to get garbage, sort it out, do recyclables and do these other ones. I mean, it's really a matter of collection and sorting and dealing. So the one that goes to infields goes to infields, the one that can be recycled into whatever. And even if you will have, it will take time to make it happen, but you will see movement. Because in that scenario, the ones, if you get the recyclables in a way that are back to the people who buy them, so the issue is collecting and getting it sorted and giving it to, making money out of it. And it didn't look very complicated. And if you go anywhere in the world, those people who've made it very easy for them to handle garbage, the issue is collection happens every 2-3 days. Now, if it becomes every month or once a week, that's where the problems are. Yeah. And so that is the major issue. But back to the 60 days. The 60 days reprieve, because members really felt we really want Nairobians to understand what we had against the governor. And we felt that if our bosses are requesting for some time for him to get his act together, let's meet halfway. let's give you some reprieve, and also let's also continue in in good faith. We allow you to put your house together and see what happens, but it will be upon him to really come back, get a plan, and see, because we actually even signed something yesterday. The president met us on Tuesday and actually met us again on Wednesday, and yesterday the plan was now today we are not saying who went wrong. We are not talking about the problems. What's the way forward? What are we to expect within the 60 days? And that's why we argued. We actually nailed down to about 3 points. One, on the pending issues, things like they're supposed to be done, they're in the backlog. Two, the continuous daily activities, and 3, good governance issues, where the things I had mentioned needs to be sorted out, and we need also to review maybe in 30 days and then in 60 days, and then make a decision. And so some of us who are working on this, we decided this is the time now to bring Nairobians on board, so that you also be part of, let's wait and see. In 60 days, these are the things that we thought that needs to be sorted out. If they're not sorted out, then we come back and ask ourselves what is the next way forward.
But Shege, why did you change your minds? On Sunday, you were very clear. On Sunday, we got the briefings. We all got the updates. We were told where all of you were and what you were going to do.
Yeah. We didn't change our minds.
Oh, hang on.
Okay.
You were going... by your own admission,
yes,
by the end of Monday, if you had all the signatures, you were going to wrap up the business and take it to Senate.
Yes.
By Monday evening, you would have been in Senate, save for the intervention of Raila Odinga and the president.
Yes.
So what was this that would have closed the gap between Monday evening and tabling this thing before Senate and a conversation whereby everybody said, okay, fine, let's hold on, let's give him a chance. You weren't ready to give him a chance on Sunday, but you were ready to give him a chance on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
We are in a political environment. And if you're in a political environment, the way this thing also works is that if you call ourselves the way we were called by the president as Kenya Kwanza, and the way ODM also, and we actually had met earlier, as I said, as both leadership. The issue was what we're asking for is a reprieve. If it doesn't happen, continue. In the days of last governor, Sonko, I remember we also had the same problem. And the person who had the motion and was asked, please give him 6 months. And he was actually given 6 months. After 6 months, President Uhuru and Raila at that time were now saying, we agree, he can actually go. So sometimes, to be honest, Ukraine is fighting Russia. But as in they're fighting, they're talks. Israel is fighting Palestine, but they're talks.
Was any money paid to members of the county assembly to back off on this motion?
Not really.
Not really or not at all,
no.
Shege?
Let me say for myself.
Let's be very clear about what the chatter on the ground is.
Yeah.
All right? That in light of conversations around bribery for decisions to sway in a particular direction, that people who can be so vehement in one position 24 hours prior, and then on the next day, walking with the governor in solidarity. One must ask, was money paid to members of the county assembly, either from the office of Raila Odinga or the president, for members of the county assembly to now say, all right, fine, let's back off and give you 60 days to fix this thing or we'll be back?
Let me be very clear. Number one, we were not given any money. Number two, if we are now working and we've quote-unquote kissed and made up and we want everything to be rosy, I would not be here saying the same issues and saying, give us 60 days, let's see. And so, of course, outside there, everyone might think, these guys must have been given money or they've been told they toe the party line. But really, give it to those principles in the sense that they actually listened and actually saw our point and anger. I remember I was told that when the governor went for the ODM meeting, it was really pretty rough. Like he really got it straight from the members. And so, and if you look at even our chats, guys are like, today is 59 days. We are on countdown. So really, what is just a respect of the party leaders, and we said 60 days is really not much, getting it happening and within a recess moment. Politics really would have happened if the same moment happened when we are not on recess, then it would have been a very different story.
Two quick questions. There's also an element where maybe you are raising, or rather the MCAs are raising the stakes to get to an impeachment conversation, because as it is, the governor ataona watu nyuma. There's that conversation, watu wataonwa usiku kwa hoteli fulani, watu watakutana, those conversations. Secondly, so that's the first question. Secondly, and a quick one, did Sakaja in any of these two meetings, first it was with the ODM representatives, then State House with Kenya Kwanza, was he given a chance, because you're telling the president these are the problems, day two, this is what we think will be the solutions. Did Sakaja ever say anything?
Yes. In the meeting that I was in, number one, we are not raising stakes. We already had the stakes. And if you follow from Wednesday until this Wednesday, if money had been changing hands, then it surely would not be piling up the numbers. The numbers have been going up and up. Then you'd be finding there's another team coming and countering, no, we have decided, I don't know what. Then number two, was he given a chance? Yes, he was given a chance. What was his response? Number one, of course, he asked for a second chance. He's never been a governor before. Give him time. I'm not an angel. Everyone makes mistakes. Please give me a chance. We said, it's fine. 60 days looks a realistic chance. Let's see what happens.
Sorry, I also have to say, former member of the County Assembly for Roysambu Ward is Peter Waruteri, and he's here with us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you.
Sometimes I know this place is hard to find.
I know. I really lost it.
Let's take it like that.
But then I'm glad I'm here.
Thank you so much for coming. All right, well, joining us in the conversation, and we'll come into it in the few minutes that we have left. Thank you.
Yeah, so Chege, so let me just ask him before I lose my train of thought. Chege, as you're having these discussions about the governor, there is also the Mwananchi, who donated this power to you. And it is them, if it's the Mount Sakajas that you're talking about, it is them who live with them.
Yeah.
And with all these, they're the ones who are now saying or alleging that money exchange hands.
Yeah.
When you go back to your ward, you as Chege, what are your constituents telling you?
Even before going, they've been calling and says, ulituangusha bana. So but to be honest, we've decided that I think my colleagues are also in the other media stations saying, let's get the public into this thing and let's agree that we're actually giving him a chance and it's timed. So we want the social contract to be held by the public and to be held by the Nairobians, so that they say, we gave you a reprieve. If it's not going to happen, what are the options? And the options is, again, we retable the motion with better grounds, because now we'd even have given you a chance and you also didn't do anything with the chance. And so for us, the most important thing is to make sure that Nairobians feel that service was done. And us, as oversight, did we do our oversight role in the way that was required? Yes. Us as politicians, did we have a conversations even with our party bosses and agreed, maybe, let's give him another chance. 60 days for me is really very reasonable, very realistic. I hope he has learned his lessons. From 1st of November, you'll hear a very different conversation. Yeah.
Waruteri, you are in the assembly before, and it is during a time that Sonko was impeached. Yeah. So during that entire conversation on impeachment of Governor Sonko, what led to you guys finally saying this guy has to go? Hatutaki kumsikia anymore.
Allow me first and foremost to really apologize for getting a little bit late. Number two, this guy, we were in the same class. He's a good friend of mine.
This guy being Chege.
This Chege Maura. and let's be honest, Chege Maura is an honest man. SG, let's all agree that they had you guys had followed the right path, and you allied towards the head. we must agree. I come from the point of Wajiko. The truth of the matter is like managed it hard. We are sad that Baba, our hope for the longest, went, talked to his MCAs. Our guys from the other side of UD were called yesterday, and as I know, I've been here. I've been elected for 2 terms, and I know what happens. The truth of the matter is like managed hearts. Guys were told that we are not going to go to this election, and it is sad that the president.
Wait, you're saying?
Yes.
You move very fast, huh?
That money changed hands.
Money changed hands.
Fact. Money changed hands.
How much money are we talking about, and where did this happen?
Is it Odiga Center?
Mm-hmm.
Money changed hands. I don't want to quote the figures, but the truth of the matter is like money changed hands. Yesterday also, money changed hands. I know SG is an honest man and a good man for that matter. But for them to give Sakaja 60 days, something must have gone to the pockets.
How do you know if you weren't there?
I've talked to people. I have told you I've served for 2 terms. I have colleagues, and I don't want even to mention the figures. Number 2, I want to congratulate a special person, Waidera Chege. Waidera Chege took the bull by the storm. The city is a city of garbage. Nairobi is not working completely. For the president to tell us like he's fighting corruption, and 2 days later he talks to the MCA, Baba talks to the MCAs. The motion is set aside for 60 days. That's a huge disservice to Nairobi. I don't know what my brother Chege and others are going to tell, how they are going to convince us that money never changed hearts for whatever happened. Number 2, I was in the camp that saved governor, tried to save Lala, because Sonko was never impeached. The reality of the matter is like we had 65 MCAs in Mombasa, and just as might happen, I'm not so sure, the government used unorthodox means to get Sonko out of office. And I'm telling you, Sakaja is on laxity of time. Soon it's going to happen. Unorthodox means are going to be used to ensure that this governor is out of office, and NMS is coming in.
So if there is an orthodox means of still having him, why wait? Why don't just get rid of him? Why would they work so hard to still maintain him there?
We all know what happens, oiling of special people. When that happens, then the people are told to... An MCA, tuseme tu kweli, ni mtu mdogo. So when Baba tells his MCAs, nimesema, I don't want that impeachment motion to continue. Trust you me, because they are looking for their certificates in 2027, they'll go back and say, but wait a minute, whatever you're doing is not right.
But what's the interest of Baba and the president? Because we don't see, well, you can assume it's the capital. The seat of power is in Nairobi. Maybe that's the reason. But really,
yes,
what is the interest? Because Raila had 2 meetings prior to now the president meeting the Kenya Kwanza MCAs at State House.
It lasted 8 whole hours. I want to tell you this. Even if you are the president today, Nairobi being the capital city, would you allow, because these guys are, the direction that they were taking, they wanted to impeach both the governor and the deputy governor. Would you allow a by-election for Nairobi to take place?
Why not?
They are scared. I come from DCP. Ground. I can tell you for a fact, if a by-election was held today, we would chase UDA, ODM out of the office. Wait till November 27. UDA will not even get 1 member of parliament, not even an MC. We are going to be in Kariobangi. And the truth of the matter is like the president is scared. Baba is scared. They don't want to go the way, the Kawajiko way, the way UDA picked and labbed Uhuru through and through. That was to happen. If that was to happen, it would be a sad day for this country. I know they might not even have the resources to do that, but a scared government like UDA will not allow any opportunity to be tested at this time.
Let me say this. In our conversations, especially with His Excellency the President, the issue was impeachment, then what? If it goes to Senate, then what? I'll give you a classic example of Kericho. Kericho has done this in their second attempt to do the impeachment. The first one went, it was knocked off because actually an PO, preliminary objection at the Senate, it was voted out. They mastered it again. When I was seated waiting to come in, I saw my colleagues in Kericho saying, we are going to do it again. And so, the really giving a reprieve instead of the back and forth really is fair. Number two, the issue of the president. What's the interest, as Dennis is asking? Nairobi, as Ndu said, is a pin, and so it's very difficult for the heads of the major political actors not to put their hands on. When we had the NMS administration happening, the beauty is that the bulk of the activities that you saw them do were also being shouldered by the national government. What has happened now? NMS left the national government with a 16 billion deficit, And so that's one of the issues. What is the interest of the president? Is I do not want another, my plate is already full. I don't want a situation that I'll have to shoulder that will also push my budgetary allocations to Nairobi, yet I have the whole, his picture of the country is on a different level, yet you guys can handle your issues in Nairobi. So those are the major issues.
So at the presidential level, you can then understand.
I can understand.
But Sakaja is not an ODM representative.
True.
And Raila is defending Sakaja. What is Raila's interest?
How does Raila come into this is because he has the majority members. And so Sakaja has been, the broad-based thing balancing on both sides. And so maybe he would try and lean there thinking, and of course, the way their politics is geared is that once Baba says it becomes law. So he was trying to take that advantage. But again, he was really carpeted. But what is important and fundamentally important to get is that we must be clear as Kenyans, who are we putting in office? Because at the end of the day, it's your skunk. If you get leaders that you're not very clear, they're not very credible, and you have a very good game plan with it, remember you have 5 years, unless something happens. And even if it happens, the way decisions are made at the assembly is that it's collegial. It's not a one person making all these decisions. So
okay, let's ask the question and get it in here really quickly. I mean, I know we'll probably take a few more minutes into this conversation. But what happens after 60 days? By your own admission, the things that are going wrong in the city are gargantuan.
Yes.
The garbage issue is not going to be sorted in 60 days. The water issue is not going to be sorted into 60 days because they're goons who perpetuate these goonism. That's not going to be sorted in 60 days. There could be, I'm sorry, but and I'm sorry is not an I'm sorry unless action is changed, right? So what happens after 60 days when these things will probably not have been achieved? What happens then?
Then we pick that, we revisit, we have...
you have another conversation with two
principals? No, we're not having a conversation because actually they said after 60, if it's not working, we had done our part. So for us is to pick it up from there and then take the conversation to the House and also to Nairobi, and so that you see and we layer everything.
Rotary doesn't seem to agree.
If you ask me, it's a sad situation. Coming from a very intelligent man here, telling us Nairobians we have to wait for 60 days to fix the wrongs that are there. Don't you think like Wajiko is not getting the right value for money? This is a city of garbage. If what has not worked for 3 years will not work in 60 days. Let's be realistic, my brother. What has not worked for a whole 3 years will not, they will not have any quick fix in 60 days. You are giving a bad governor a reprieve of 60 days to continue messing up with Nairobi, to continue doing things the way he's, the Sakahora thing. The governor does not even work from the office. He works from a funny residential area. This is a governor who has not been to the office. I can even count the number of times that he's been to that office. And then here you are, there's the MCAs saying, thank you, we need another 60 days to fix what has not been fixed in a whole 900 days. Is this realistic? Shegem, just a minute, Dennis. Shegem, I want to ask you this, as a kind brother, a big brother. What will Wajiko say when Wajiko hears that to the tune of 100 million changed hands. Quite a lump sum amount changed hand for you to give a governor a reprieve of 60 days. What will happen? And if you ask me,
before you even proceed, because you're the one making the allegations, what are the receipts? What evidence do you have? Because so far, what you're saying is just talk.
Thank you, my brother. Are we talking? Are we looking at a government that even at the highest level, the holder of the office said what normally happens? I've been there. I know what happens. What will Wajiko say when he realizes? And we will get facts. The gentleman at the top said what happens when we do the billing and serve in the National Assembly. The same is replicated at this level. I am saying, and I'm putting it to my good friends at that level, that Wajiko is putting them on notice that come 2027, if this mess is not fixed, then they'll have a lifetime.
There's a question of irregular hiring of staffers. There's corruption from the Auditor General, the reports that have been done, Shage, because you are currently serving. I'm just wondering, the ballooning, pending bills, and all those conversations, were these parts of conversations that you had with the head of state plus Sakaja, the corruption at the county? A lot of money that has been lost.
Yes, and the president said he wanted to see that part of allegation, and actually told him straight, if there is good in evidence, EACC will come for you straight. And so it was not an easy meeting, by the way, and it's not it wasn't like when kijana wetu. No, it was a tough give and take, and our only give was 60 days. For me,
was a 60 days. So Raila gave 30 days. The president gave 60 days, so the 30 within the 60 days. Who was suggesting this 30 and the 60 days? Was it the MCAs themselves, or was this coming from Raila and Ruto?
MCAs wanted now.
Yes.
You see? And the reprieve from the bosses was like, give him some time. And the question was, how much time? And so really, 30-60 is really...
So who came up with the 30-60?
I wasn't in the ODM meeting, but I would suggest maybe it could be the Prime Minister. 60, yes, was the president on our side. And it really looked realistic. And some of the things we're actually trying to put up an implementation plan. And we realized some of things actually we will not be able to. But we said, like from your first proverb, let's look at the intent. Let us see deliverables. If there are payments that we are saying that needs to be pushed to some pending bills, you might not be able to make all, but let's see a sizable chunk moving and see a plan of the rest within the next whatever days.
Simple question. Do you believe that the changes you're asking for will be delivered in 60 days if they have not been done in 2 years?
I have a personal opinion, and I'll let you know immediately. But the first thing is that if you also in an agreement, you also must be in good faith, give him a chance. But knowing him, my heart is not very convinced. But let's just give him time.
Okay. Yeah. Well, some of these conversations continue to the next hour, but we want to thank you both for being here.
Yeah.
It is not dead, obviously, because there is a time on this conversation in terms of what will be happening. The questions then that rise to the top is what happens to the residents and inhabitants of Nairobi within that period of time. But let's look and see, and we'll continue with the conversation. Shegamora, thank you so much for being here. He's the member of the County Assembly for Ngara Ward. And what is it? Let's see how we can continue this conversation, shall we? All right, thanks folks for being here. It's 5 minutes past 8 o'clock. Kenya's biggest conversation continues after this.
5. This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.